Hello, this is Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today I have with me Peter from the American Queen Steamboat Company. Peter, welcome aboard.
Hi, Rick. Good to see you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for coming back. We had you on once before talking about a different product, but today we're going to talk about the American Queen. Now, it's a pretty familiar brand for most people, even if they don't know the name, they know the product. So, is there anything special you'd like to share with our listeners today?
American Queen is an iconic vessel. Anybody who's been on board is absolutely falls in love with the boat, and for good reason. It is the largest steam-powered paddle wheeler ever built, and it is the most opulent. So when you think about, in your mind's eye, you have an idea about, gee, what would Mark Twain have seen? Or is this something that would have been appropriate for his time? Absolutely, it is. This is something that he would have enjoyed just as much as people today enjoy. It is 6 decks, a very open and inviting experience. It's a very social boat, whereas people get to know each other quite a bit, and there's a lot going on. So even though it's Victorian opulent, it is an engaging vessel that is going and doing some things for everybody in one of the most beautiful parts of our country.
Yeah, I think the boat itself is amazing. I call it a big slice of Americana. The way that it is finished out, the style of the food that's on board, the style of the entertainment on board, and the iconic places that you're going to visit. It really does bring up all the memories of Mark Twain and everything that he wrote about. So it is an amazing experience for people looking for a slice of Americana. So thank you for sharing that.
And it's engaging too, because if people are into a certain kind of thing, relaxing, certainly there's plenty of opportunities for that. But for someone like myself who likes to fidget with things, and I'm kind of hands-on with mechanical things, this is one of the only boats where any time of the day or night you can go down into the engine room and talk with the guys in the engine room, and you don't get that on many boats. And it's just a kind of down home welcoming experience that you get on the American Queen steamboats. By the way, we talked about the American Queen, but don't forget, we've got 4 boats total that are operating. The American Queen, which is our biggest and our most opulent, and then it has 2 sister ships, the American Countess and the American Duchess. Those are smaller, more boutique-like cruise ships than the American Queen, which is very, very elegant Victorian. And in the Pacific Northwest, on the Columbian Snake Rivers, we have the American Empress plying the waters there. It is set up more like a, if you can think of it, California Gold Rush era elegant boat. So they're themed boats, and they fit the area. When you're cruising in certain parts of the world, certain boats just fit. If you're in the Amalfi Coast, you want to be on a seaborne ship or a Silver Sea ship. If you're in the Caribbean and you're not on one of the big cruise ships, you want that more authentic feel, you're probably on a windjammer ship or one of the big sailboats. When you're on the American rivers, nothing fits the place and time like a paddle wheeler. And it's just a remarkable experience that fits the environment, and it's incredible how quickly people acclimate to the environment and the boat and get to feel like they're part of it. It's great stuff.
Sure. And I'm glad you brought that up because you talked a little bit about Europe. You talked about ocean going cruising, and we're talking about river cruising. And I think for a lot of people, they've always thought that if I want to go on a river cruise, I have to go to Europe, but they don't. They can get on a river cruise here in the United States without that long overseas flight. So that is a great thing for people to remember, isn't it?
It is. And when you think about the numbers, it's staggering. 10,000 people, baby boomers, retire every day in the United States. And of them, only 54% actually have a passport. When you look at where we're cruising, the Mississippi River, and its tributaries, the Ohio River, the Tennessee River, and the Pacific Northwest, we are drive market for the majority of the US. So people can take either a short flight or in many cases, they can even drive to a destination. Like if folks live in the Southeast or Florida, you can literally drive to New Orleans, take a round trip New Orleans cruise on the Mississippi River and drive home without ever having to get on an airplane at all. So it takes a lot of the stress out of, going somewhere, but you don't really give up a lot, because if you tell me something that you're interested in, I'll bet you I could find a cruise that we have that will fit that need. If you're a foodie, not a problem. Start you out in New Orleans, which is, Michelin starred restaurants left, right, and center. You've got Cajun, Creole. You move up the river, you've got any choice of things. A lot of places that will have the food to table concept on board to really engage in. You can get into some of the kitchens of some of the world's famous chefs and really knead bread with them, literally. When we're doing the area of the Mississippi and the Ohio River from St. Louis over to Louisville, we have barbecue challenges where we actually pit our culinary teams on board against some of the country's best awarded pit chefs. And we need somebody to judge who did a better job. That's going to be the people on board. So it's a tough job, but somebody's going to have to do it, and it may as well be you.
Absolutely. And I know you also have wine-themed cruises, don't you?
We do, especially in the Pacific Northwest. We're cruising in the Columbia and Snake Rivers. The Columbia River Valley is home to over 50 different wineries. Red Mountain is just fantastic. They're mostly doing either Chardonnays, Pinots, and they're also doing a lot of Bordeaux and Rhone style blends. So for an oneophile in the United States, that area is second only to the Napa Valley. And I'm certain you'll find something there to be engaged and to enjoy.
Oh, that is amazing. So you don't have to go to Europe to go on a wine-themed cruise. You can do it here in the United States. And I'll just put a plug in for one of my favorites. It's the jazz to blues. So the music of New Orleans and the music of the Memphis area that is amazing. And for those that are Civil War buffs, there's also Civil War themed cruises. So I think just like you said, if you have a theme that you want, you likely are going to be able to find it on the American Steamboat Company. So we've talked about those itineraries. Do you happen to have a favorite?
That's a tough one. It would be a toss-up, honestly, for me. Either for the New Orleans to Memphis, that would be a fantastic cruise, because there you've got a little bit of everything. You've got certainly the food, you've got the music with jazz, blues, Cajun, Creole, Zydeco. You've got a rock and roll. It's the back door into, Nashville. So there's just so much going on that itinerary, and it's right in our backyard. I mean, a lot of folks just don't realize how fantastic this part of the country really is. It'd either be that, or my second choice, it has to be the Kentucky Derby. We do have the Kentucky Derby cruises where we have a full package, where a lot of the things before the Kentucky Derby, one of the events that happens is the Great American Steamboat Race. I think we kind of fit into that one. So we've got two boats up there, and we participate in that part of the Kentucky Derby week. So if you're into the fastest 2 minutes in sports, I can't think of a better host to be with than us.
That would be an amazing. And so that we know the time of year that is, that's May. So you're looking to go cruising in May and you like the Kentucky Derby, this is a great way to be hosted.
It is.
What advice would you give to somebody taking their very first cruise on the rivers of America?
I think that the best advice I could give them is to talk and engage with the crews a little bit more. The boats that we're operating on American Queen Steamboat Company are all American boats. They're built in America. They are US flagged. All the crews are American crews. So as you're cruising up the river, you're getting a chance to really talk with people who may have actually grown up there. And on our boats, we put a gentleman on called a river Lorian. Think of combining the words river and historian, and it's river Lorian. And his only job is to engage with the people that want to engage with him and talk about, steamboats, how they were built, how they operate, what are they looking at when they navigate up the river? What's the history of the part of the river that you're in? What are the interesting facts? He's there to really fill in the blanks and give you an enriching experience that you could take home and say, boy, I really learned something about the United States and I'm glad I went. My wife is a fifth grade school teacher. And one of the things that happened to her this past year was a lot of schools were not able to do their field trips for one reason or another. This is an absolute golden opportunity for multi-generational families to go and take their children and their grandkids and teach them about what makes the U.S. so special. Show them firsthand about the history, the culture, how people are different from different parts of the country, and why that fabric weaves into a nice tapestry that makes us the United States. It's an absolute golden opportunity just waiting to happen, and we have a lot of folks that are taking advantage of that. Cruise Planners in particular has a lot of fantastic packages set aside that can meet that need and really bump it up a notch to make sure that families and individual guests are getting the best value for their dollar.
And while we're talking about value for the dollar, let's talk about everything that's included when you book a cruise on the American Queen specifically, because there are a lot of inclusions that we don't always see with cruising in general. So maybe you could walk us through that.
Happy to. First thing is we hate seeing people run up to the ship at the last minute and get all flustered because they're starting their cruise off, on the wrong foot. So we are a cruise only, but we include the first night's hotel. So you get to the departure town, we'll put you up in the hotel. You can do as you please the first night, and then the next morning breakfast is on us. And there are some little things around town that we advise that you can do to entertain yourself, or you could take tours that we've set up. When you're ready to check out of your hotel, you lock your luggage in your hotel room, and then our folks will go into your hotel room, get your luggage out, and put it directly into your cabin on board the boat. We'll provide the transfer from the host hotel to the boat, so you don't have to worry about the transfer either. Once you're on board, all meals are included, all, soft drinks, bottled waters, other things of that nature, all non-alcoholic drinks are included as well. During dinner, we include beer and wine. You can also get beverage packages or buy drinks a la carte if you please, okay? As we make our way up America's waterways, we have 5 luxury coaches that are mirroring our movement up the river. And they are there in our same livery as our boats to provide a hop-on, hop-off experience in every port we stop at on the Mississippi River. And the people that are driving these buses are part of our crew. So it's not unusual that people that are, operating the buses will know the guest that's coming on and say, this is good for you, maybe try the next port instead, and they work with folks. So there's that cohesiveness between the onboard and the shoreside product. As you go through the hop on, hop off, a lot of the places that we'll take you to, the experience in there is included. So the admission fees for a lot of these locations is already paid for. I could keep on going on about the entertainment and the food. There's no choice for the alternative dining venues. All in all, it's great value for dollars spent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. We've experienced it and can absolutely just add my name behind that. It's just an amazing experience. There isn't one part of it that I wouldn't go back and redo. So It's just amazing.
Thank you.
And, is there anything new on the horizon for the company, or any new itineraries or new ships?
Yeah, we're christening a new ship. We are christening the brand new American Countess coming up in February. We had wanted to christen it a little bit earlier. We've got the giant bottle of Tabasco. Well, it's a toss-up. It's going to be in New Orleans, but the company is based in Indiana, so we weren't sure if we were going to do it with a giant bottle of Tabasco or a giant bottle of bourbon. So it's going to be one of the two. But we'll christen it and get her underway for the 2021 cruise season. And we're very much looking forward to that.
Oh, that's amazing. New ships are always so interesting to talk about. So we'll be watching for information on that. And so my last question for you today, it's more of a personal question. And that is, if you weren't working in travel, what do you think you'd be doing?
Holy cow. Good question. I think I would probably still be near boats one way or another. I grew up in New England around boats. I had my first boat before I had my first bike. And not many people know this, but I'm a licensed U.S. Coast Guard Master Mariner. And so I've got my license for that. So if I wasn't doing this, I think I'd probably be moving boats around or doing charter or something like that with people anyway. So probably the same kind of business.
Oh, that's amazing. You'd still be on the water. So thank you so much. My name is Rick Saltarelli. I'm with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners, where we help create lifelong lasting memories. And today we've been talking with Peter from the American Queen Steamboat Company. And I want to thank you very much, Peter, for being with us today and sharing your thoughts.
It was my pleasure to be with you, Rick. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to having you back again.